It's not sound like the real Crawford. I play a thing.
I mean, man. How do you Crawford sound?
Oh, I hit man. We hear the connection now, man, father. Oh, go. You know how long we are called for your father on the platform, G?
Oh, see, not before time. I pass through and hear the reasoning and I go and listen. You see?
The time is now, man. I'm glad skeleton down in the place and couple ones there we can see the frequency said we. Right now,
Ah,
we kinda the ones them in Jamaica kinda wake up to the reality. And we see you as one person. From just a start out on the live and get certain information. I see you as one person where been a put in the work and you been a get whole heap of fight from your own people. And somebody mentioned the third party earlier, which me not really believe in a politics, my father. I'm not encourage nobody to go towards politics. But my sister, you is a person who talk for bring forward change for
yeah.
the Jamaican ones, you see me? And we are look for the better best, you see me? For the people,
Yeah,
them.
man. Don't, no, big up, big up, big up, big up.
Love King,
Sorry,
man.
Craft.
Respect, man.
I'm glad to
Mm.
hear you on the platform. I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, man, no problem.
All right. So one of the biggest concerns for me is politicians. What I love for ask the politicians because a lot of people don't know, especially people of the lower class, as what them would call you. What's the difference between the public sector and the private sector? Can you break that down for the people?
Yeah, man. All right. Well, the private sector are seekers of profit. So any the general circumstances of a society is that there are some people who are offering a service of value in return for profit. And then there are some people who are helping the government to organize the society. So the public sector are those employed by the government to help in organizing society, and the private sector are those that are in pursuit of profit. So that is the major difference.
All right. All right. So thank you for that. No more you break it down for the people and when understand nothing what you just say.
Well, me not sure if they're not. As me say,
All right.
you have.
So in other words, the private sector is the people that we consider them as investors,
Well,
right?
them are look profit because I know every investor. All right, so watch me now. From longer time, people realize that human beings work best when they are in a group, and so there had to be rules as to how the group would function efficiently. Just like how you have a tiger where is a lone animal and you have lions that is a group animal. And within the lions, them have certain rules like the women do the hunting and the men don't hunt. And people say, oh, so why the man them lazy? Because them defend the women. So it would be a thing if them run go and look for other animal while a bigger man lion come kill off for them, pick and kill off for them. So everything where have a group of rules. So human being did decide that those rules would be through what them call democracy, an elected group that decides for all of us. Because like animal will fight till we decide who is in charge. So the lion them would have fight and fight until them say me are the bad one and me in charge. So human being them decides that them are go through democracy. So in that democratic process, them select a set of people who are then going to make decisions for the group. But as it evolved, that group, that those decisions became bigger and bigger and bigger. And so there were services that were offered not for profit by the government to the people. Different countries have different services. So like transportation might be a service offered for the people through JUTC. But then you also have a man running taxi as a red plate, and he would have been private sector, while JUTC would have been public sector. Because JUTC is offered as a service, not for
Right.
profit,
Right.
while the taxi man are run film service for profit. You see me?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you for answering that, Sir Crawford. Now, for the public sector, earlier you said the public sector is employees of the government.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that? Because when you say public sector, you're referring to the citizens of the corporation or the corporate Jamaica per se,
Well, all of
which
us
is
are citizens, but the government employs some people to deliver on its service, and those people employed to the government to deliver on those services that are not supposed to be for profit are going to be a part of the public sector. So, for example, teachers that are teaching in a public school, like KCR primary school or whatever, they are part of the public sector. People work at tax office, they are part of public sector. RADA, which is in charge of
Oh,
agriculture. Because anybody employed by the government in pursuit of the government service is the public sector. Anybody employed or investing to make a profit is the private sector. You know what I mean?
okay. I like where you said that, No, let me get where I want to get with this question. So you said in order uh anyone that is employed, you're referring to tax office, people that work for the government per se. So technically citizens aren't necessarily employees of the government. That's what you're saying, right?
Generally, no. A citizen of a
Okay.
country don't have to be
Okay.
employed by the government.
Okay, good. So now my other question is Jamaica, or no, is the government of Jamaica, is it a country or is it a corporation?
It's an elected unit. The government is an elected unit. So it's not a corporation because a corporation is a registered business.
But
So,
So
but if I can show you proof that the government of Jamaica
yeah, me can
is
put it on
a
the screen right now if
registered.
you like, my brother.
Yeah, bring it up, bring
yeah,
it up, bring it up.
yeah, man.
So, Mr. Crawford, remember,
Yeah, man.
where I'm getting at is that you're saying that the public sector is usually people who are working directly for the government and not
Yeah.
so more so citizens. Now we're going to bring up something on the screen that on Duns and Bradstreet is that the government of Jamaica is registered with Duns and Bradstreet as a corporation, and it's also registered with the SEC, which is the Security Exchange Commission, that deals in securities, stocks, and bonds.
Right.
So if the government of Jamaica, according to you, is not a corporation, why is the entities that govern or regulate corporations have them listed as such?
No, because they don't regulate corporations in it. All right. So a bond is a government debt that the government issues. So the government have expenses, right? And the government seek to fund those expenses through today's revenue or through debt, which is tomorrow's revenue. So basically, if when the government raise taxes, it's today's revenue, and then him borrow some money, but him eventually have to pay it. So it's really tomorrow's revenue. So when the government goes to the private sector to purchase its bonds, right? That must be going through a certain entity that offers that service. So, like how you have the stock exchange where trade stocks for private companies, you have certain entities throughout the world that trade in bonds and they trade in government paper, government bonds. Every country, USA, everybody, they offer those bonds. So those entities are the ones that are going to be the fair traders of the bond, because if you are going to buy the bond directly from the Jamaica government, who is going to tell a lie about its ratings, its risk levels, and all of that, it becomes an unfair trade because the trader one, the government, will have all information, and trader two, the buyer, will have no information. That's an unfair trade. That's why I say insider trading and them think they're wrong, because if one man have enough
Right.
information and one man have none, is an unfair trade. So these entities now, they become the listers like Standard and Poor, and them think they know will rank and give information to the public that this stock is this risk and should then get this return. So it's because them are trade bonds why them registered on that. They must seek lenders, they must seek money from the private sector. You
Okay.
understand?
All right. Cool. Valid point. Now, you explaining that to me, it's still not answer my question as why is it registered as a corporation?
Because
Because
remember, the government has seek debt and private man has seek debt. So if a man a build a hotel, him also has seek debt, right? Him a seek a lender. So you have to kind of have a singular notation for everybody we are seek that on the same platform. You get where I come from? So because them are seek the debt, it's like this is the
Them have to
name given
register
to
as a
all
company.
debt seekers. Huh?
Them have to register as a company. That's what you basically
Not
say.
a company because as I say, them have to register as a debt seeker. So debt seeker A is Jamaica government. Debt seeker B is Sanders Hotel. Because if it is registered as a company, it should have a trading asset that it
A
is
ticker.
seeking to sell for profit. And it don't have a trading asset. It don't have no way to trade, way to sell for profit as a single government. It don't have that.
So,
No,
Mr.
so
Can I ask a
because it's
question, please?
because the government. All right. So
Can I ask a question, please, Mr. Skeleton? Can I ask a question, please?
all right.
Mr.
Yo, Neon,
Good.
no, why you do this right now, Neon? Me no
No,
want
me
to
not
remove
trouble
you
it.
off of the life, cause I'm
Me
a
not
general, Neon.
No, I'm
Please,
going to
respect
ask
the
him
man,
one
them reason,
question.
man. Me have only a question and I want to ask you, father. I want you, man.
Are the credits
big up, Mr. Crawford. Big up yourself.
You're king, man.
All right. So I get to my point, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Mr. Crawford, right?
yeah.
You're saying the government is dealing with bonds, but you mentioned nothing about the securities. And according to research, it is clear that the citizens, the ones that subscribe to be a Jamaican citizen, they are considered the not the collateral, but it's an ABS, asset backed security. So they're the ones backing the security.
Yeah, their taxes, yes. Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so as you could consider the people them as chattel per se.
No, because it is not in the form of collateral, it's in the form of future earnings. So if it was that the people could have been claimed and sold, like how my house can be claimed and sold, that would have been collateral. So when I'm building a house, I use my house as the collateral, so the bank can take back my house. If I take a business loan, I use
All right.
future earnings
Yes.
as my collateral. So when you put the government borrow a debt, it is the future taxes from the citizens that
So
really
so
serve as the collateral.
so wouldn't
So
that
when Mhm.
wouldn't that be um proof that there is some sort of, like you say, bond, which was derived that each citizen of the corporation, aka employee or aka consumer or whatever, that creates that bond, because there has to be some sort of contract from inception, right? In order for the
Yes.
government to go to the IMF and say, hey, I have this and this and this, and I need to borrow some money based on of the production of my so-called corporation or
Yes.
employees. Wouldn't you consider the birth certificate is that bond that proves that this is my collateral?
No, because the collateral must be able to be claimed. So if you buy a car and the car is your collateral, then the bank can claim the collateral. The bank cannot claim the citizen. So that is where now the risk assessment is made. If the government say, I can raise $200 million from my citizen, there is a company like Duns and Bradstreet that now analyze that truthfulness and that likelihood. So Duns and Bradstreet might say, yeah, Jamaica can raise the money if no hurricane. So you have to put a risk factor for a hurricane. If there's a hurricane, Jamaica are going to be incapable to pay it back. Or
Okay.
Jamaica can raise the money if backside continue, if backside done. So basically, it is against the earnings from the citizens more so than the citizen themselves.
Okay.
So as I said, with a business loan, I can show my monthly revenue and the bank say, all right, he might make $1 million a month, so I can lend him 500,000. As versus use my tractor. If me use my tractor, the bank can claim the tractor. If I just use my revenues, the bank have to depend on me making those revenues.
All right, good. Me like how you said that, Mr. Crawford. So now me I go get full circle now. So now that you
Yes,
say that they cannot claim the people,
yes.
wouldn't based off the word or the meaning of the word citizen or the meaning of the word persons in legalese, it's not they're not referring to the natural living being. they're referring to entities. Yes?
No, me not understand the question.
I'm saying, remember, so when you're speaking legal, they speak
Yeah.
in legalese, meaning what it seems like is not necessarily what it is. So them
Right. Yeah.
speak English language is a deceptive language. So what I'm saying is that the word citizen or the word person in legalese or in legal terms is it's not referring to the living man, me and you, the breathing man. It's referring to a corporation, a corporate entity. So you're right when you say they can't put a claim on me and you, the living man.
Right.
But when a bond was created at birth, now they can claim that fictitious entity, which you and I are backing with our labor. So wouldn't
With
you
our production, yes, which labor is one of them, yeah. But
exactly?
understand, so what they would do is force sufferation on you. So if them comes and say, yo, listen, we need back our money and we cannot pay it 10 years from now, then they say, yo, okay, then you can't build no school, you can't do this, you can't do that. Like how IMF will come and say, these are the things where you have to do for pay me back my money. You can't do no welfare. So they can force sufferation on the people by diverting the money from necessities to repayment, which is just the same with a bank and a household.
So right. So go back to your statement. You're saying we couldn't be claimed as collateral, and you just answered the question that you can be claimed, not you, the living man, but the bond itself that you are backing is being claimed, right?
Yes, the bond can be claimed, but when the bond is claimed, that is the loan. That's not the collateral. When the loan is due and the man say pay me more money, it is the inability to pay that caused the collateral into question. So once you are able to pay, then the collateral don't come into question. In this case, the collateral is a lien on the government's earnings, which is a lien mean first preference on the government's earnings.
This is
So when
true, but
all right, let me give you a simple
not to cut you off.
example.
Hold on, Mr. Crawford. Not to cut you off, The thing is, you're saying to me, remember what you're saying is that you keep going back to the loan. I get it, but in order for the bank to get a loan, they had to have some sort of collateral. And the collateral,
No, you don't. No, man. You have many loans that don't use collateral. You
right?
have many
Unsecured
loans.
loan. They have
Yeah,
unsecured.
yeah. So
100%.
let me give you an example. Just an example. My company then, right? Let us say sell egg in my company, right? Let us say me comes out and get a big company, a big bakery. We say them want $5 million worth of egg, but
Yeah.
them are paying at 30 days.
Yeah.
Remember, me have
As
to
a
go
net
find
30.
the egg and do everything for get it in a 30 days.
Yeah.
So me go to my bank and say, yo, me I go can sell one $40 million worth of egg, but me nah go get no pay till 30 days. So can you give me what you call an overdraft facility? And them say yes, them give me an overdraft facility for let's say 40 days. You
Right.
see, once the 40 days come, that money were in my account automatically get taken out, because they're not business if me want to pay light bill or nothing. Our agreement was that I will have enough revenue to pay back in 40 days. And so if they make that claim, on my account. So every money will come in until me pay them back, automatically go to them.
All right.
So they can't take up nothing from my office, or them can't take up my farm nor my goat nor nothing. But they
Okay.
have a lien on my revenue.
All right. Understood. Understood. Now, with that being said, Sir Crawford, with that being said, because I think we're not seeing eye to eye is the fact that you are not seeing that there's two collateral. There's one, the tangible asset, which is the bond, and then the securities and the security agreement and the promissory note. Because in every transaction there must be some sort of promise to pay, right? Which is that's the so-called money. But without a living person, there cannot be any form of loan, because we are the ones who have to promise to pay. Wrong or right?
You're right.
Okay. So wouldn't you consider the asset? One of the asset is the actual paper, the contract, the agreement between one and the other, right?
No, me not understand.
All right. Me and you know say there's no true money because money is based on the value or it's given by the person who is backing it. The money, paper, it's shuttle paper, the paper pushers. That's the
Right.
money.
Right. It's a holder of value. So money is simply a holder of value. Yeah.
Exactly. So that means we can create money out of thin air based off our
Yeah.
agreement.
Anything, if we say 10 leaf is value a car, then 10 leaf is value a car. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is that if I go and come to Mr. Crawford and say, Mr. Crawford, I want to borrow X amount of money. And Mr. Crawford say, as the bank, say, okay, let's look at your credit worthiness. All right, let's eliminate credit. But this is what I'm going to do. But Mr. Crawford is involved in something called securities. Right?
Yeah.
And in order for Mr. Crawford to give me any form of physical money, Mr. Crawford have to give me a thing they call promissory note, which is we call cash. And with that being tied with the contract, the security agreement, and the promise to pay. Now that right there in itself isn't that an asset?
Yeah, the bank can hold that as an asset. Yes, the bank can use that and borrow other money and do all kind of.
Good. Thank you for confirming that. No, with that being said, if that is an asset that I gave to you as the bank, and you are lending me money, why do I have to pay you back if I gave you an asset?
Because the value within the asset is that payback. That's the value in the asset. So when you come and give me, when I lend you some money and I get a contract from you, I can even sell that contract if I want.
I know. That's where I'm getting at. So this is my thing.
So, but the sale of the contract, the man when you buy a bun and get it for eat, that is the man where buy my contract is that he's going to get the payment. He's going to get the payment eventually. That is the value of the contract. So if there is no repayment, then the contract has no value.
But this is the thing. Remember you just said the bank, Mr. Crawford himself, can go and assign that or sell the contract for 10 times more that he just purchased.
Yes, if he can get that value, yeah.
So no, not if, is what we know, because when I give the bank a promissory note, because according to the Bill of Exchange Act, the value of the face, banks can get up to 9 times, 10 times of what they loaned out, what they make you think they loaned out. Because if I gave you, Mr. Crawford, the big bank, as an asset, let's say $100,000, me agree, say me I go pay back $100,000. Yeah. That note now is worth $1 million from a bank perspective, wrong or right? Up to 10 times more. This is in the Acts, BOJ Act. Yeah?
It can be worth that. It can be worth that, but it don't necessarily work. Yeah,
all right. So him go now and sell it back. And remember, I know, it's my asset. Well, it's our asset because we both have security interest in it.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you be considered the man who borrowed the money? Wouldn't you be owed some sort of securities as well? Because now you're trading the asset. No, it's not necessarily just a...
No, because that was not in the agreement.
Exactly.
Remember, you already get your benefit,
No, so it go back to where me I go come back to now. So is it that because we are unaware of how to contract and understanding contract law that we didn't inform the bank, say, hey, it's my right to subrogation. I am here reserving my right to all interest. Because remember, when a man go take out a loan, the bank say you agree to give me all interest and all your rights to me. You have to assign all your rights. That means the bank knows that the asset you gave me, you have value. Once I put this on the market and pool it as an asset-backed securities and start trading it, it's going to be millions. And if I don't get you to relinquish your rights in this asset, that means me owe you.
But right? Remember that in every single deal, There is a deal maker and a deal taker in every single deal. So what is happening is the man will look alone. Him need the money. The man will lend the loan. Him therefore becomes the deal maker. He must say, yo, this is the basis where you can get my money under. So sometimes even if you know, you still need the money, so you sign anything what them give you.
That's
So if
true.
I need the money, I am often only concerned about the interest, right? More so than if the bank is going to use if it's going to sell my thing, because the bank also taking a risk it might not sell.
No. To be honest with you, you make a valid point. It's a risk. It's a huge risk. Because the banks they deal in securities, stocks and bonds every day. That's what they do. Banks not doing them not loan them not none of that. But that's how they make their money. Security, right? No. If I come to the bank and I say, here, I am extending my information for the privilege of getting a loan, right? And the bank say, all right, I like the asset, I'm check your credit worthiness. It look good, it look like you're one of them man that will pay back the additional interest, right? Take the loan, them take the asset, they go trade the asset, make billions off of it, still a wait for you to come get back the loan. Now, before they even take the loan, give me the loan, I then interject and say, hey, I want to retain all my rights and equity in this particular collateral. 90% out of the time, you're going to get a pushback from the bank because the bank knows that, oh, this person is too informed. But the bank also have a thing called discrimination, that they know they can be, if this person is smart enough to retain their right, reserve their rights, that means this person might be smart enough to sue us for discrimination because of retaining their rights. Would you agree?
But again, it's a risk. So there are people that I don't buy from because I can't bother with the headache of buying from them. So if the bank is saying I'm offering a service and you come so boom, I'm making the service more risky, then the bank are gonna need a greater return from you, because the risk and return must be inversely related, mean that if risk is low, must be equally related. If risk is high, returns must be high. So if the bank see you as a risky client, the bank are gonna want a higher return or choose a client who is less risky. So yeah, the bank would have been less likely to lend you, yeah.
But then, with that being said, what determines the risk? One's credit ratings?
No, not just credit rating, because now it's not just repayment. You are saying that if I am able to sell the product that I get from you, so basically I get a contract from you.
Yes.
And you are saying if you sell this contract, I want $10 from it. So what you have done essentially is to reduce the returns on this contract that I have because you want a portion.
Right.
So now I'm gonna say no, if I go have to give you $10, then I am going to now want to negotiate a different price for this contract as well. So if yeah,
that is fine, you know. But what I want is to retain my equitable interest, just like an artist.
But I'm still saying to you that I just tell us if we go somewhere else because we don't want that. So remember, it's a marketplace, you know. Yeah. The two are in a marketplace, and I don't want that for buy.
But at the end of the day, a majority say.
But the majority not thinking like you. So you're gonna lose out if a majority say.
And that's what I try to say now, Mr. Crawford, is where that earlier I was saying to the people that the educating ourselves in these fields is important, because we are the ones who have full control, because a bank can't go into a contract with a bank. Them need us more than we need them. So I bring up this point to say, back to the original topic as far as the citizens. So when the government, when we get our birth certificate, that is the bond between us and the government. Well, you would agree with that?
I'm not sure, because what do you mean a bond between us and the government?
The birth certificate is saying you're a Jamaican citizen.
Yes.
Is it right? So that means, again, let's go back to the meaning of citizen. The meaning of citizen means entity, person, not living man, living soul. It's a registered corporation, and I have proof to show that. This
They have proof to show it too.
This is not me freestyling or any conspiracy theories, Mr. Crawford. This is factual information that the government themselves also have put out there. You can check the Uniform Commercial Code and all of these things. It's there. The liens are there against their citizens, which is fine, because at the end of the day, they are property. A citizen is a property of the corporation. No. Because
AKA Admiral Royalty Products.
We are working for the government as citizens. Right. Because why do citizens have to pay taxes, Mr. Crawford?
Because the government will provide a service. The tax is the cost of the government service.
The tax is the cost of the government service. So can the government tax a sovereign individual that does not subscribe to the government's policies?
I don't understand the question.
No, we may say certain question. We don't really want to put Mr. Crawford on the spot with certain
no,
questions.
No, but Mr. Crawford at the right man, because he's willing to reason with it. Remember,
but I'm saying...
Right. You have a strong point still, Skeleton. I'm not going to continue reason still.
Yeah, the government have the right to tax anybody who is within the environs of its borders. So the government not only tax citizens. For example, the TEF, the Tourism Enhancement Tax, that is to foreigners who come here.
But then again, Mr. Crawford, we have to go back to the basis of what the language we're speaking, because again,
the difference of citizen and a foreigner. Because we know the Constitution mention foreigners, you see me, as well as aliens. You see it, as well as citizens.
I'm still a citizen. Because let me ask the question the other way, Mr. Crawford. Can the government tax private man and woman?
Yes.
They can tax. So is the government currently taxing the Maroons?
Yes. The Maroons are not Skeleton Dan. We are in a reason about that, but the Maroons are not private people. The whole of them have birth certificate and passport and ID and all of them thing there.
All right. One of the major taxes of the government is GCT.
Right.
You think anybody can go and say, I refuse to pay the GCT?
No, you can be exempted depending on the structure you create.
What? Well, I am unaware of the structure where you could have created. Me don't know of it. So if it is so, because if it is so, then the whole would have created that. And then if it is so, which road you have to drive on?
No, let me ask. Hold on, chap. Mr. Crawford. So you're saying to me, there's no corporation in Jamaica or any entity in Jamaica that's not tax exempt?
Yes, government entities.
Well, so the church is a government entity as well?
No, the church can apply as a charity.
Then charitable entities. You have corporations that are tax exempted. That's what I said.
1 second. But that, all right. Any exemption from taxes is not automatic. It's through government's decision.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's mandatory. What I'm saying, you have to set it up a way where you go and indicate to the government, say, hey, this is how I'm operating, and I'm exempted from this. What is due to Caesar is due to Caesar. But if you structure yourself accordingly, then you are tax exempted. Remember, you just say no.
Hold on. I think we have to be careful. Watch me now. The government have identified certain entities that is assisting the government in delivering its service. So like the church, for example, the church have some charity activities, but the church have to be registered as a charity. Right? Good. When I collect GCT, when I pay GCT as a company, I can claim back my GCT as a company.
Right, the refunds,
Right, because the input is not, I would have been double taxed if I had to pay tax on my input and tax on my revenue.
Right.
So I can claim it back. But there is no entity that is absolved from government's consideration. If you want to be relieved in any way, government have to either have a policy to relieve you or approve an application. But I don't know of any group that can say, I would not want to pay taxes, and by that decision,
So
government should.
now that you state that, Mr. Crawford, I am going to put you in a very weird predicament with this question. You don't have to answer it, but you are telling me the government can impose taxes on a living man that has no dealings with the government, no contracts, no nothing. A man will have him land free and clear, everything. Remember, Mr. Crawford, think about when I say real questions when I ask real good before, because I know I get in trouble, because them love pick by you. So the man will have him land and have him farm and all these things. You're saying by law, I'm not talking about legally, lawfully. When it comes to common law, when it comes to God's law, you're saying the government can impose. Remember, I'm not talking about extortion. Legally, you're saying the government can come in and tax that man for the land when it belongs to the government. That's what you say, right?
Yes. No, remember, take out God's law, because God's law is human's perception, right? So each
No, you can't say that. You can't say that, Mr. Crawford.
Hold on.
You can't
listen
take
to me.
out God's law. You can't take
No
out
man,
God. That's what we go
no
wrong.
man.
All right, go
Wait,
on,
no.
go on.
When a man said this is God's law, right? Man A might say, this is how I understand it, and man B might say, this is how I understand it.
Yeah.
That is why for human being law, you have a court, because all laws are based upon how it is perceived by the person who is perceiving it.
So basically, two different law govern man and human being, living man and human being.
By perception, by each man can see it different. That's why you say Israel gone and say God give them the land, and Palestine and say, yo, me not believe in a phone of God, different thing we are dealing with. So what I'm saying is this: by human being law, where we have for organized societies, the government accepts through the democratic process that they have some duties that they should carry out, and all members have to contribute to that. Like, for example, the police force, like, for example, the hospitals, like, for example, the roadways, like, for example, the electricity distribution. So because they have those, like, for example, debt repayment, like, for example, schooling. So all of those things that are expenses are supposed to be paid by the total. And because it's supposed to be paid by the total, then the government can tax the total. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying, Mr. Crawford, we are the ones who created the government, right? We created the government. We gave them the power to administer our affairs, right? And in return, you still there?
Yeah, man, listen, man.
And in return, we pay them for that services, right?
You don't pay them for the service. They collect from you to offer it.
Them collect from we for offer it. I don't understand that, my father.
I still pay them.
All right.
Pay them.
No.
Hold on, Mr. Crawford. You're saying